All right, we have processed data. Good times. All right, let's see what we can do with this sort of stuff. So I've got all my data down here. So this is my blank data set there. I've called this one data from Cutter, March 30th to May 16th, 2023. So I know when the data came in. So if I look at this next year or 2 years from now or whenever, I know when the data came from and my by the file name. So this is just an Excel spreadsheet here. So what I'm going to do is we've got four of neutral, we've got the white, metal, and black. So we've got our data that have been all condensed down every 30 minutes. So they should all theoretically start on the same date. So we'll look at that really quick. So first thing I'm going to do is keep these things separated. So we're going to do our control, which is our the roofs that they weren't painted at all. So these are just our regular bird boxes. And so we're going to go into neutral roof. And I've got my timestamp, my temperature, and everything. And I'll come down here and I'm going to highlight all of these guys. And I'm going to do Control C. And jump back over here. And right at the top, I'm going to go Control Paste. And there are my data. I'm going to go and clean this up a little bit because these weird artifacts are in here. So we'll look at temperature and percentage. So those all work fine. We can even change these temperatures, and put a code on them if you want to put control or whatever, things along those lines. And, for formality's sake, to make it pretty, we can double click on it and move it out there. So the next one we want to look at is, let's do the white roof. And then we will go get the data for the white roof. And so the first timestamp is 1800. So hopefully, I think we're all starting at 1800. So let's go to the white roof. Here's the white roof. And I'm going to highlight all of, oops, come back. I'm just clicking and holding. I'm going to drag down. There's my white roof. Control C. Going to come back to my data set. So there's my white roof. I'm leaving these gaps in here just so that I can keep track of it again. So there's my date stamp. Let's make sure it's got room. So there's 1800, 1900. And so scroll down to the bottom of your data set. And so it looks like there's 1730, 1730. So I've left the timestamp on there just so that I can verify when these things are all occurring there. So, all right, so there's a white roof. Now, if you recall, we've got a black roof. So there's a gap. I'm going to clean this one up there. Oops. Put these back in. I'm okay with that. So here's my black roof. So, yep, you guessed it. Let's find black roof. There's black roof. So whoever named these, good job. So good intuitive names help you not be confused about data. Otherwise, you got to keep really good notes. So here's our next one, Control C. You want to make sure that you got that little highlight around there so that you are bringing in new data. So they should be slightly different. So now I'm going to paste these guys. Does it fit? So that bounces over there. So we can actually see really quick our white roof temperature is 70.5 degrees, and half a degree warmer already. It's right there from our control. So we got to look at our data. So you can see this is a little bit cooler, the white one and black one. So let's move over. We've got a metal roof. So double clicking so that these all fit in there and I can read them nice and easily. And so this is metal or aluminum foil roof to see if that's going to do anything for us. So let's find metal roof. And I'm highlighting and dragging all the way down to the bottom. I've got all my data there. Control C. Now I'm going to come back over here to my data cutter. And I'm going to hit paste. Make room so that they all fit. Scroll over so that we can all read it. So there's our data right there. So we can actually see our metal roof just really quick. Look at that, it's 73 degrees, 71 degrees already. So we already have a nice temperature there. So again, I'm just going to confirm my data. Again, some places had like you know, their sensors were either broken or they fell off. We just want to make sure that or they were, if they were turned off or you're missing any data, we can always get those data back. We just create gaps to fill in the hole. So I'm just going to make sure that all of ours looks like we recorded all these data at the same time. So look at that, 1730, 1730, 1730. Way to go, Cutter. Excellent job in bringing in your data. If you need help cleaning any of your data sets, if there's problems with it, I can help fix it. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned up a little bit. We know that all of our timestamps are the same, so we're going to clean that up. So I'm just going to go delete, because I don't need it. It's extra data now. So I know that these are all the same in the columns, so I'm going to delete that. And this is just personal taste. You can leave them in there if you really want to. And I'm going to delete that. So let's do a comparison. We can... Oh yeah, I was going to get rid of that little thing right there just to make it prettier. And it may be worthwhile here if we're going to do temperature so that we can keep track of each one of those. So we'll do this for M is metal. I don't have metal highlighted there, so let's see. So I pay attention. This is black. So we've got black, metal, relative. I'm kind of bouncing around. Sorry, black. I'm just putting the letter at the end of this so that I know that it's relative humidity M, relative humidity B. Here's our relative humidity, and we'll put a W. Relative humidity for W. And then here is our control. So we're just going to put C for control, C, or R for regular, or, just don't do W for wooden because we have a W for white. So we can do a quick comparison by temperature by what I'm doing is I'm holding down control and I'm clicking on temperature. And just for fun, we'll see if there's any big difference there. So let's go and we can insert a chart. So we'll do the full data set, even though it's kind of crazy and big. It'll run them all up and down. I highlighted the whole thing. So the data are all there. They're just all squished. So this is what's the fun of the live demo there. So we're going to have to come in and manually select these. So I'm just scrolling down with my wheel to get to the bottom. So what it's doing every single one of the records there. So let's go to the last one. I'm going to come all the way to the top. This may take a second, but it'll be worth it. So there's one. I'm going to scroll down to the next one. Now by holding down control, I can highlight another data. So I'm going to come all the way up to the top. And I want to make sure that I get the text at the very top of it as well. Now we can do any day by just simply highlighting the day that we want to do. I'm just kind of curious. I haven't actually seen these data, so I'm scrolling down to the end. Holding control, and if you mess it up, you just got to do it again. Look at that one. It's 92.9 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty hot. You guys pulled these little critters off. All right, so coming down to the end again, we've got one last one to do. And because I've added the letters at the end of Fahrenheit, hopefully we can keep these all straight. I really should have paid attention to see how many data points we have. Yeah, we have 2,200. Holding down control again. And I can see that the other ones are grayed out, so I know that I've got them all in my data set. All right, let's see the moment of truth for the whole data set. Hopefully it'll be a lot better than the other ones. It's not compressed. So here we have our data. We're going to have to spread it out, and let's look at our data here, and we can actually see which ones are peaking out higher. So interestingly enough, the W and the M, so just at the whole data set there, there's a little bit of a change going on right there, where, but they're all kind of following right on top of each other. So we're going to have to zoom in. See if I blow this up really big, if we get some separation there, or the lines. yeah, I think we're going to need to come in here and help clean the data chart up a little bit. So I think I can, I'm trying to do this um, on the fly. Format axis, so it's got a maximum minimum. So we're going to change this from 100, and it's never getting down below 40. So let's see if we get that to go ahead and 40 and 100. Didn't take the data. Actually, probably should. Pull these critters up and format them on a different recording here. But anyway, there are the data right there. We can actually see the blue of our control is getting a little bit warmer. There's the gray for the black. We can change these numbers and put them in order, but they're drawing right on top of each other. So we do get some separation in here through various days, and we can look at those things in a little bit better. The numbers down here at the bottom are which row they're located as. So let's play around with the charts a little bit differently. So I'm going to pull those guys off there, and then we can look at, let's just say, the first 24 hours or so. So I'm just going to do these first ones right here so that we can hopefully be able to read them a little bit better because they're spread out. And again, I haven't seen these data yet, so I'm trying to play around with them. I am just grabbing 61 and going up. So these are the first 60 data points here, and then up, insert. There's my little chart, and I can look at my chart there. Let's stretch it out there. So here's a good example of throughout the day. So you can see nighttime, we're not going to expect there to be much of a difference, but we start to see the split out here. So the yellow one is the metal roof. So you can see the metal roof is actually getting hotter. Then behind that, interestingly enough, the white is up there. So it could be the paint that's being used. May actually be absorbing. So B, the black one, is right underneath that, and then our control is underneath that. So it's interesting that the white and the black are reversed there. So first thing makes me consider, like, is the style of paint that we're using different, or do we have actually the right data? Do we have black and white actually mixed up there? Meaning that they were recorded under the wrong data set, or the sensors got flipped, something like that. Because it's a little bit confusing to have that to be colder. You would expect these guys to be the black and the white numbers to be reversed. So there's just a quick look at one of them. And before I stop here, I'm going to run down and do just another one. Let's come all the way down to the very end where we had these really hot days. So we had these super hot days here. And I'm just going to drag the bottom ones, and let's go all the way up until, let's do 2200. That way it's easy to keep track of. Holding down control. Now the only thing is I'm going to have to look back and get my data correct here in a sec. So from there down to the bottom, there down to the bottom. And let's take a really quick look at these data, and we can check these guys out. So it's nice and hot. I just have it series 1, 2, 3, and 4, but there's metal, there's white, there's black, and there's a control. So it looks like the two painted ones are a lot closer together. But you can see at nighttime, the temperatures are really close together. And as they warm up, so you can actually see if they're warming up. It depends on if there's cloud cover. You know, we can start looking at those things to try to see why we're getting different temperatures in 4 almost exactly the same bird boxes. Well, I've yammered on enough there. I may come back and do another one playing around with charts and with data and humidity, etc., etc. But with that, I think that gives you a good idea of how you can pull your data in. You can change the colors here. You can change your scale over here if you want. And then makes it a little bit easier to read. You can put your title up there. You can even have charts for whichever days or for as long as you want, that sort of thing. So hooray, we're playing around with data and our little experiment. We're definitely getting results.